I'm going to start with Ruby. Hope that's all right with you, Ruby. Do you want to just start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your involvement in the Graphic Refresh?
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. So yeah, my name's Ruby Zajac, and I'm a creative producer with Lickety Spit Theatre and Play Company, and we're an organisation that's been working since 2004, developing an approach called Story Play, which has been developed entirely with children and families, and particularly 3 to 8 year olds, and we consult children about all of our work, and that led us to start delivering consultation sessions for the government, and where we use story play, games, rhymes, songs and imaginary play to find out what children think about issues and policies and different things that affect them. So I was on one of the working groups myself, the Values and Principles Working Group, and then from that developed some consultation sessions with some of the children that we work with, who were sort of 5 to 12, and that those were to consult the children on the values and principles and the information sharing charter, as Sarah said. So that kind of fed in to the overall refresh, and those children were in the very large majority children who are living in the asylum system. So 95% were refugees or asylum seekers. So yeah, I think that answers that question.
Thanks very much. So what did the children and young people that were working with Lickety Spit, tell us about GIRFEC and about the values and principles and information sharing charter?
Sure, yeah. So the games that we played included 3 Craws. Well, it's a song, as I'm sure lots of you know. So, for example, we sort of started off with that and we sang it, and we talked about the different barriers that the Craws all face to accessing services they need, or the needs that they have from the adults in their lives. As I'm sure most of you all know, one of the Craws fell and broke his jaw, another one couldn't flee at all, another one was greeting for his maw. And we used rhymes and games like that to talk about the issues within the values and principles. And one of the strongest things that came back from the children was their how much they care about equality and inequality. So we went on a magic ball adventure to a swimming pool, and one of the Craws didn't have enough money to get into the swimming pool, and the children were really concerned about that, and they told us that how unfair that was. They said that it would make someone feel really sad, and there was a 5-year-old saying, "Oh, I've got 5 big monies, I could give one to them and then they could get in and I would still have 4." And there was another one who couldn't swim very well, and another 5-year-old said, "You can go on a floaty, or you can put on something so you don't die, you don't drown." So they were really problem solving to kind of help each other to overcome those inequalities. And another thing they talked about in relation to sort of adult support, and they talked about a teacher making sure they spend time and help everyone equally, not just staying with one person. That was an 8-year-old, and a 9-year-old said, an example of when people have been shown equity with all kinds of races is when we are playing football, they are showing teamwork and including everyone. And the final quote I just wanted to share was an 8-year-old who said, when asked about inequality, and that was in relation to one of the particular values and principles, the new one, equitably tackling multiple and intersecting forms of inequality, she said, "It's really important because it would make the other people who don't have that thing feel really sad, and it wouldn't really be nice. And another thing is because the law needs to be fair." And I think that the impact of not getting it right for every child on mental health and well-being and sadness and happiness as the ultimate outcomes that children are navigating was something that came across really strongly. But the only other thing I wanted to add is that, we did find that we absolutely had to put these values and principles and the information sharing charter into action through the games, so we played Letter to My Love, and we talked about the letter and the information on it and who could get it and when permission needed to be given for that information to be passed on. And the values and principles themselves were quite inaccessible to the younger children in the language that they have. And although I think that, that language has improved, I think we definitely, what we learned really reinforced our belief that we need to use play to continue to engage with children about these issues.
It's very much to be just we ourselves within Scottish Government could never ever have dreamt up such an imaginative and engaging approach, and that was the beauty of working with organisations such as yourselves. Is, you know, when we found out about the three craws and the letter to my love, I thought it's just genius to sort of frame it in a way that children could actually find it enjoyable, you know, to engage with that. And yes, the wording of the values and principles has changed a lot, and that's largely thanks to what the children and young people told us. So final question for you, Ruby, what difference would you like to see Gothic making in the lives of children and young people moving forward?
I suppose I would like Gurfic to empower more practitioners across all sectors to use play to actually fulfill the aims of Gurfic, and to feel that that is a very valid way of meeting children's needs, and that it isn't a light, you know, add-on that play, you know, has perhaps more historically been seen as. But I think I would really like to see it being woven together with the UNCRC and all the work that's been going alongside that for implementation of that, and to continue to make, you know, move forward with what I hope can be a much more inclusive outlook for particularly early years children. And children with additional barriers and needs, such as children experiencing the disadvantages of the hostile environment, and other children for whom, you know, a more standard kind of consultation process won't necessarily garner the same results.